What if Jayson Tatum went to the Sixers instead of the Celtics? Back in 2017, there was a lot of talk around this NBA draft, and the Celtics actually made a move that worked out for them in the end. In 2017, the Celtics actually had the number 1 overall pick, but they traded it to the 76ers in exchange for the number 3 overall pick. I don't remember what else they got back for it, but they got the number 3 overall pick, which gave them Jayson Tatum. With the number 1 overall pick, the 76ers drafted Markelle Fultz, who unfortunately his career in Philadelphia did not work out the way he had hoped, but he did revive his career with the Magic, and I am happy for him. He has been playing very well since he's been on the Magic. I went back to an article from 2017 talking about the trade of the picks, and Danny Ainge had said, he had told reporters apparently, that the player they are going to draft at number 3 would be the same player they were going to draft at number 1, which obviously was Jayson Tatum. Listen, Danny Ainge knows what he's doing. We could talk about how, negotiating with him is definitely not fun, but he knows what he's doing. He helped build the Celtics. But what if the 76ers instead decided to take Jayson Tatum because they liked what they saw, and instead of the Celtics, he would be a 76er? So at this time, Embiid has been on the 76ers for a couple of seasons. I believe he was drafted in 2014. And this is right after Ben Simmons was drafted. So Ben Simmons just finished his rookie season. Or actually, wait a minute. He didn't play his rookie season because of the injury he had. So actually, this was Ben Simmons' rookie season technically. I remember the whole thing with Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, so this was actually technically Ben Simmons' rookie season as well. And Joel Embiid also had his injury history. So actually, I don't know if he had played prior to this season as well, the 2017-2018 season. I think he might have played 1 year. But regardless, he had not played a ton either. That team in 2017-2018 with Joel Embiid, and they still had Ben Simmons, obviously, like I said, and Robert Covington was on that team. TJ McConnell was on that team, I believe. They had some quality players. That team ended up 3rd in the Eastern Conference. If Jayson Tatum was on that team, I feel like that team would have been really nice because Jayson Tatum kind of fit the player that they needed at that time because they had Robert Covington, who is a wing player and was known for 3-and-D, but obviously we know what Jayson Tatum is now, and obviously an NBA champion, and of course at the time he was a rookie, so his skill set was still developing. But given that Ben Simmons, of course, although he's 6'10", he was playing point guard, he wouldn't have been in Jayson Tatum's way because he wasn't playing the wing position for the most part. So I think this team, if they had Jayson Tatum, those 3 of them, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and Jayson Tatum, I feel like they would have had solid run. I feel like they literally would have been the Celtics 2.0. Now, keep in mind, of course, we would have to see what kind of moves the front office made because obviously the Celtics made very, very good moves and they have been run very well in the recent history. So I'm just assuming that the 76ers would, put together the right players around those 3. So with that scenario in mind, I feel like they kind of would have been like the Celtics 2.0 before winning the championship this year. So what I mean by that is, although Joel Embiid has been to the playoffs multiple times himself without Jayson Tatum on the team, I feel like they would have had multiple Eastern Conference Finals appearances the way the Celtics just kept getting there and only got to the NBA Finals once before this season. I do think in the end, though, they would have had to move on from Ben Simmons or Jayson Tatum because I don't think they would move on from Joel Embiid. I still think he would have developed into the fan favorite, the MVP candidate, the dominant center that he is. So I don't think Joel Embiid would have ever been on the table to be moved. I still think his value that he provides now for the 76ers would be the same, with those 2 around him. I think the 76ers would find themselves in a position, though, which is why I said Celtics 2.0, where they had to make a move. And unlike the Celtics, who didn't have to break up Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I feel like they would have to do a move like that in this scenario because the lack of shooting, Joel Embiid can shoot the 3, so that's fine. And Jayson Tatum can shoot the three, but when he gets to the playoffs, his three-point statistic seems to go down. And Ben Simmons is obviously not taking threes. So I feel like the floor spacing would end up getting them in trouble a lot in the playoffs, besides like other things. But so I feel like in the end, they would have had to break up those three. But it changes everything, because what if you are able, like, also, maybe this keeps Joel Embiid healthier because he has someone like a Jayson Tatum on his team in addition to Ben Simmons. Now, to be fair, he had a Jimmy Butler, so, like, it's not like he hasn't had other talented players. I'm just saying, like, it's still a what if. But then Jayson Tatum probably would have never gone to the Celtics, because I don't see a world where the 76ers trade him to the Celtics, who, again, are well run at this moment and have been for a little while. So I wouldn't see them moving him there, because the Celtics probably, if they didn't get Jayson Tatum, would have built a decent team without him. And they're a rival, a division rival. There's no way they would trade him there. So Jayson Tatum probably would have ended up in the West if they moved him. I don't know if they would have moved him or Ben Simmons. Honestly, they probably would have moved both of them. I think they probably would have moved Ben Simmons first. No, I think they would have moved Jayson Tatum first, actually. Just because of Ben Simmons' unique passing skills. And I feel like we all think that Jayson Tatum is obviously the better player than Ben Simmons. It's not really a debate. But I think because of his unique skill set, whereas Jayson Tatum, people say you can find a pretty good wing in the league a lot of places, I feel like they would have moved Jayson Tatum first and gotten, of course, a ton of value for him. And then I think they would have seen, oh, Jayson Tatum might not have been the problem. It might be Ben Simmons. And when I say problem, I don't mean like Ben Simmons made the team bad. When I say problem, I mean like doesn't fit. Like, you're not going to win a championship with Ben Simmons being your number 2 option, basically. Or number 3 option when Jayson Tatum was there. So I feel like they might have realized it a little too late. And they're like, we kind of traded Jayson Tatum. We probably shouldn't have. But maybe it wouldn't have worked anyway. But we definitely got to trade Ben Simmons now. And then, honestly, I feel like the 76ers would be in a worse position than they are now. Because I feel like they would be scrambling to figure out, how do we make this work? Because at this point, Ben Simmons would have gotten his money, because he did, in the real scenario. Joel Embiid, of course, would have been paid. And Jayson Tatum would have been paid at that time as well. So you would have been likely trading for somebody else making that kind of salary. And I don't know who exactly you're trading for. So I feel like it may have actually worked out worse for the 76ers in the end. Like I said, short term, I think it worked out well, or would have worked out well. Eastern Conference Finals appearances, it's just the spacing that I just feel like those three together does not work. Like, the rest of the roster around them, I don't know. I just can't think like who exactly you put around them to make that work perfectly. I'm sure there is a way, but I just personally don't think that's the best fit. But Philly's in a great position now because Tyrese Maxey, star. Joel Embiid, obviously a star. Superstar, whatever you want to call him. And then, of course, they just got Paul George. So let's see how it works out.